Hello and welcome to another video from Norway. Today I'm going to share with you some of the stuff I did on the way to Norway. I had a quick stopover for like an hour in London, so I'll share that with you, what I got worked on the way. Got a bit of a problem, which I'll also share, and I've cast on for a new project and I'm contemplating casting on for another project, and I've ordered some yarn, so I'll share all that in today's video, plus a bit of out and about in Norway. So I hope you enjoy today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns, I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I have a special offer at the moment. You can get 30% off all my patterns on Ravelry and PayHip until the end of July. The code is SUMMER30, all one word. I'll put it on the screen. I'll also put it below in the description with the link to my Ravelry and PayHip stores. All my patterns, 30% off. Use it as many times as you like. Share it with anyone you want. The more people you share it with, the better. So I arrived here on Wednesday evening, after midnight. So it was actually technically Thursday morning, I guess. I left Cornwall Wednesday morning. I had to be at the train station for 6 in the morning, and I filmed a little bit what I was working on the train. Got the train to London Paddington, and then because I arrived at London Paddington about 10 in the morning, and my flight from London Stansted Airport wasn't until 7:15 in the evening. But I always worry if I get a later train and it's delayed, I could then struggle to get to the airport on time. And there are a lot of delays and problems on trains in the UK at the moment. So I'm usually up early anyway. I'd rather just get on the train and get there, and then I can just sit there all day. I booked lounge access, but I hadn't booked it at 2 o'clock, which was a mistake. So when I got to London, I went to Liberty. I had to get the underground from Paddington Station to Liverpool Street Station, and then train from there to Stansted Airport. And the tube line kind of goes through Oxford Circus. So I jumped off, went to Liberty, which if you haven't been to London, Liberty is a beautiful department store. I'll show you a little bit of a clip. It's their 150th anniversary this year, and they've launched these anniversary tote bags, which are ridiculously expensive really for what they are. But I really wanted one, and I couldn't find it on their website. I saw it on the YouTube video a few weeks ago, so I thought, well, I'll just pop in and see if I can get one. And I had a look around the rest of the shop, but it was so hot. This is what it looks like. Liberty, and then it's got celebrating 150 years on it. I just love that. That's basically what the shop looks like from the outside. So beautiful shop, small department store. They have some luxury handbags, makeup, clothes. I didn't look at the clothes at all. I do always look at the luxury handbags that I can't afford. They have like a stationery department, I think. They have a haberdashery, which I walked through. They used to have a reasonable amount of yarn there, most of Rowan, I think. Now they had one table. So I didn't buy anything there apart from that tote bag. And then I got back on the tube. I had planned to go to some other shops near Oxford Street, at the top of Regent Street near Oxford Street, because there are a few shops that I quite like looking in when I'm there, but it was just so hot I couldn't face it. So I thought I'll just get to Stansted. So I'll show you this little clip from London now before I tell you the rest. Once I got to Stansted, went through security, really slow line, really hot. I don't know why airports don't have air conditioning, it's just unbearable. And they checked a lot of hand luggage, and it goes through to the back of the belt that it comes out of the x-ray machine on. And they only had 2 people checking, so I must have been there for like probably half an hour waiting for my luggage to be checked. It's because I stacked my tablet and my Kindle on top of each other in the front pocket so I could access it easily. But you're not supposed to get it out anymore. I think next time I might as well, because every time since they brought in these new rules where you don't have to get your liquids or your tech stuff out, electronics out, I've been searched. So I think I might just next time just say, sorry, I'm getting it out, because I'm fed up with being searched every time. Anyway, I decided to go straight to the lounge. I stopped at a couple of shops to buy a couple of things I needed. Went straight to the lounge, and I was there an hour early. And normally I don't think that would have been a problem, but it was incredibly busy. So they said, yes, you can come in now, but that means you got to leave by 4 o'clock. When I was there, not last time because we had an early flight, but the time before and the time before that, there was no problem staying there all afternoon, because as the afternoon went on, it got quieter and quieter. That didn't really happen this time. It got really, really busy, and they have these small tables. It's like almost like a sort of like a lap tray table that you'd have in front of you when you were eating in front of the telly on the sofa, and a small chair. The chair was actually quite comfortable. The table is ridiculously small. You can barely hold a plate of food and a drink. But they're quite close together, so they're for one person. So I couldn't really film anything, me talking to camera, because it looked a bit, I just felt like everyone was watching me. Probably weren't, but, and also I didn't want to film anything on me crocheting, just because I would have caught the people behind me. And the lady who was showing people to their tables was circling around a lot. And then she went off shift, I think about 3, and somebody else came on. And she kept walking past, kind of checking which tables were free and updating her iPad. And she commented on my crochet a couple of times and things like that. And I was like, she's going to kick me out once we get to 4. But 4 o'clock, which is when I should have been out, came and went. And I thought, I'll just stay here. And then got to like 5, and she went off shift and somebody else came on. And once we got to like gone 5 o'clock, I was like, maybe I'm allowed to stay. So I managed to stay there till about, normally I would have left about 6 to get to the gate, but the plane was delayed till about 7:15, so I didn't leave there till like 6:30. Let me show you what I was working on while I was traveling. So I was working on my crochet project. I finished the back to the underarms. I'm making this top down. So I finished the back to the underarms, and I was working on the front. And by the time I got to the lounge, I was on the front bit where I was adding the stitches for the front neck. I did that 3 times before I got it right, and I couldn't understand why I was getting it wrong, because on paper it was working out, but it wasn't matching what I had on the back. And then I realized that the number of foundation stitches I'd cast on originally and written down, I had different number on this piece than I did written down in my notes. So once I corrected that, it was fine. So I got to about this point, and then it was time to board the plane, and I didn't crochet on the plane because by that point I was really tired. So I just read my Kindle on the plane. I didn't crochet on the train because I was tired, so I just scrolled on my phone and stuff. I had 2 train journeys. One was about 25 minutes and one's about, well, actually they're probably both about 25 minutes. And then when I got here, I had a quick chat with my nephew who was saying they went to bed. So the next day I carried on crocheting. I got a little bit further than what I am now, and I had to join a new yarn. Now this is my old colour. I'd ordered some new yarn which arrived just before I left. I looked at it and I thought, that looks a bit brighter than my original colour. It's the same colour, but it's different dye lot. And I should have got the other colour up and checked it, but I didn't. I just thought, it's probably just a light. And I don't know how well it's going to show here. Probably not that well. But can you see this one's a lot brighter? This one's paler. It doesn't show that well in this light. I will put a picture up to show you what it looks like. It's quite a significant difference. So I did a couple of rows of the new yarn. I showed my mum and I said, what do you think? And she said, oh, it looks really obvious. So then I thought, well, if I rip back the front, because that's where I've crocheted less, and do that in the new colour and then do the back in the old colour. So it'll be different dye lot, and they're noticeably different, but at least it'll be front and back. And then I was like, oh, I don't know, because I started and I was like, oh, I don't know, it's quite a big difference. So then I went online, because this is a Danish yarn, so I thought they must be able to stock it somewhere in Norway. Had a look through loads of websites, couldn't find it. Then this website kept coming up, which I'd seen in the UK when I ordered the yarn I needed for my previous crochet top, because the one I was making in June was also this yarn, and I didn't have enough purple to carry on. Different shade of purple in this. And I'd ordered more, and it was the same dye lot, thank goodness. So I ordered, and one of the websites that kept coming up was lindahobby.co.uk. And I didn't order from there, I ordered from what I think is a small yarn shop. Yes, it was a small yarn shop in Norfolk, I think it was. And then they didn't have this colour. So I ordered this one from Ethel and M. Looked at Linda Hobby, and it was coming up with .no, so lindahobby.no. I thought, oh, they're a Norwegian company. So I went online, found the right colour, ordered it. I could choose some regular shipping, which was like 5 days, I think, 5 to 7 days, or FedEx shipping, which was 2 to 4 days. And it was only 5 kroner, which is only a few pence more. So I chose FedEx shipping, and I ordered it Friday evening, and it's actually arrived in Norway already. It's in Norway today. And when I got the tracking, I realized it's actually coming from Denmark. So Linda Hobby is obviously a Danish company, and they just changed the domain name for each country, depending on where you search from. So it's coming from Denmark. It's due to be delivered on Tuesday, but I'm hoping you might get it tomorrow. So my plan is, when that arrives, if it matches the new colour I ordered, I will rip back the back to there. I have to leave the foundation row in, which is the solid row here, because I've crocheted into the front of it, so I can't undo the foundation row because it will, I think, ruin this bit here. So I'm going to take it back to the foundation row. I don't mind if the foundation row is a different colour, that's fine. And then crochet it back again. If it matches this colour, my original colour, I will do the opposite. I'll rip back what I've done on the front. So you might be saying, well, why didn't you just wait till the yarn arrived? And that's because I really wanted to work on it. My other project was my mohair silk sweater, which I have actually knitted a swatch for. This yarn is the yarn I bought when I was here in May, and I left it here to cast on this project when I arrived now. But it's been so hot, so I didn't really fancy knitting a mohair silk project. So I just carry on crocheting, and I may have wasted several hours. We'll see when this new yarn arrives, hopefully tomorrow, if not on Tuesdays, Sunday today. So that is the progress I've made on this. I was going to try it on, but it's just too hot, so I can't bother to try it on. But there was a lady sitting behind me in the departure lounge, or in the lounge at Sunset, and she was asking me about my crochet project. And she said, when do you think you'll finish it? And I said, oh, by the end of the weekend, definitely. Well, we're nearly at the end of the weekend, and I'm not even back to where I was when I left the lounge on Wednesday evening. Never mind, I'll get there. The other day I decided to at least swatch with this mohair yarn. So I bought 8 balls of this when I was here in May because it was in the sale, and I love the colour. I'm not a huge fan of mohair, I must admit. I wear a lot of black, and it does tend to stick to me a bit, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to love this. I've decided to hold it double, so hold 2 strands together, and I'm going to knit a sleeveless top with a V-neck. So I did a swatch, which my plan was to do before I left home and write the pattern, but I never got around to doing that. So I knitted a swatch and blocked it. I haven't written the pattern yet. I could have done it today, this afternoon when we go home, and then started on that and left the crochet on hold till this new yarn arrives. But I just really want to work on the crochet. I'm really into crochet at the moment. So this is ready to go. Problem is, because I only have a backpack, which is here, I only have this backpack, and I bought a skirt and a pair of trousers since yesterday. So I'm really going to struggle with space on the way home, and I don't want to upgrade to an extra bag. So what I've decided to do, the crochet sweater I will carry on the way home, because I could be wearing, if it's cool enough I'll wear it, but if it's hot I'll just carry it over my arm, so that's fine. If I finish this, I'm not going to be wearing it till the autumn anyway, because it's going to be too hot, and I'm probably going to have to come back again in October. So if I finish it, I will leave it here till I come back in October and then bring it home with me. If I don't finish it, then I'll finish it when I get it in October. That's what I've decided to do about that. So my plan is to cast on sometime this week, but because I will then only have how many days to finish this, it's Sunday today, I'm leaving, I have another full week and then 4 days. I'm leaving Thursday, so a week and a half left basically. So I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this with the crochet project having taken me so much longer. But we'll see how we go. I'm quite keen on Formula One, car racing. I was really keen on it years ago, many, many years. I got really into it when I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, and she's 30 now. I was awake towards the end of my pregnancy in the middle of the night and switched telly on, and obviously back then in the mid-90s there wasn't a lot on to watch. So I scrolled around the channels and found it was from the Asian Grand Prix, Australian Grand Prix, I can't remember. Anyway, it was on in the middle of the night. So I watched it and I got really into watching Formula One. And I've been into it on and off ever since. The last few years I haven't watched it a lot, but my youngest daughter has now really gotten into Formula One. And she asked me if I'd seen the Netflix series Drive to Survive, which I hadn't. And she said, oh, it's really good, you should watch it. So I started watching it, and I watched all 7 series earlier this year, binge watched them all, really enjoyed it. So this season I've been watching a bit more. Problem is, because in the UK you can only watch it live on Sky Sports, which we don't have. There are highlights on one of the main channels, Channel 4, but I don't like the highlights as much. The Silverstone Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix of Silverstone, was it last weekend or the weekend before? I think it was last weekend. That was live, so I watched that and really enjoyed it. And there's a new film now called F1, what's it called? The F1 movie, I think it's called, with Brad Pitt. And I'd seen trailers for it, and I really fancied seeing it, but Simon's not into Formula One at all. So I thought, I wonder if it's on while I'm here, because there's a cinema about half an hour, 25 minutes away, either direction. So I'd looked it up and it was on. So I said to my mum on Friday, do you mind if I go to cinema, and do you fancy coming? And she was like, no, I don't fancy coming. So I went on my own. There was me, 2 teenage boys, and a group of 4 adults that came as a group, and the 2 teenage boys on their own and me. So I didn't have anything suitable to work on at the cinema. I wasn't sure that I could crochet, and I hadn't swatched or done anything with the mohair project yet. So on the way, I popped into the local yarn shop. I didn't film anything there. The lady who owns it she doesn't work as much anymore, because the last few times I've been there, she hasn't been there, but she was there this time, and she asks you if you want help, and if you say no thank you, I'm just looking, she just follows you around the shop. Unless there's any other customers in the shop, she just follows you around. And this time she said, would you like any help? And I said, no, I'm just getting some sock yarn, I know what I want. So she said, okay. So I walked over to where I know the sock yarn is, and she walked over to me and stood right next to me. Like, if I'd taken one step to the side, I would have knocked her down, which was very tempting, believe me. So she just stood there while I was looking at different yarn, and I was trying to just ignore her and not speak to her till I had to ask her to move, because she was blocking the bit I wanted to look at. Anyway, I did buy some sock yarn. I'd seen this last time I was here and I was very tempted by it, but I didn't buy it. So I got it this time. It is really good design, super bar, Kashmiri luxury sock yarn. It has 65% wool, 25% polyamide and 10% cashmere, and the colors are just gorgeous. So I wound this into a ball because it's easier to knit from. It was in like a sort of fluffy, loose wound center pull ball, except I can never pull from the center because it just ended up with a yarn bath coming out of it. So I wound it into a ball like this, and I cast on while I was waiting for the cinema to start outside in the cafe area. And I managed to cast on and knit one round. I also had to buy needles because I didn't have any. And I wanted Chow-goo, but I didn't have any 2.5mm, 8cm long circular Chow-goo. And I should have brought Nipro Zing because I know what they're like. But I bought this other pair. I don't know what they are. They're some Norwegian yarn company, I think. And she said she really liked them because they're really smooth joins. They do not have smooth joints. I hate them. So in the town where the cinema is, there is a shopping centre with a yarn shop, and I actually did pop into the shopping centre after I'd been to the cinema, but I didn't go as far over as the yarn shop. I just popped into a couple of shops I needed some stuff in. And I'm hoping I might go there tomorrow or later this week. And if they have Chow-goo, I'm going to get some new ones because I don't like these. If I go into Oslo, I know a yarn shop that sells Chow-goo, but I don't know if I'm going to go into Oslo. It's been so hot, a little bit cooler today because it's been a bit overcast. But yesterday and the day before it was 30 degrees and it's just so hot. And my parents' flat is really, really hot. It has the sun all the way around on that side on the window behind you. I'm filming in front of the window. The sun is on there all the way around. It's just moved around to the front of the building now, where my parents' lounge and dining room and balcony is. So even though I keep the curtains closed and the window open, it's just so hot in here. I'm sweating as I'm talking now. And it's so hot on the balcony. We've been leaving the windows on the balcony open because they have like a balcony where you can close the windows. So we've been leaving them open and we've been leaving the patio door open or the balcony door open all night. It's just so hot. We even got a fan on the balcony now because it's so hot. Anyway, I get distracted. So I knitted 2 rounds before I went in to see the film. Then I knitted all the way up to where that marker is, where my finger is. All the way up to there. I did count the rounds the other day. Let me just count them quickly again. 68 rounds, 64 stitches per round. I will work that out and put on the screen how many stitches I did. So I didn't do as much as I thought I would compared to when we went to see the Mission Impossible film a few weeks ago. But the Mission Impossible film was a lot longer. This film, it said it started at 3. I was in my seat by 3 o'clock. It was like 15 minutes of ads and then the film started and it finished about 5:45. So the film itself was 2.5 hours long, I think. But I was in the seat from 3 to 5:45. So 2 hours and 45 minutes. So that's okay, but I think I've knitted more than that. So my plan is to knit on these socks when I'm out and about. I knitted a bit on it when we went and had lunch out today. And they'll just be my out and about socks. I'd like to finish this first sock before I leave and then try and knit the second sock on the way home. As in, I will cast it on the night before and then try and finish the whole sock on the way home. That's my goal. But we'll talk more about that next week. As you've noticed, this video has come out on a Tuesday, not a Friday. My Tuesday video will be out this Friday. I can't remember what that was. Last week, I had a video out on Tuesday. I think was repairing a hole in my lace sweater, which is knitted in this yarn. It was a lace sweater I knitted last year. I think that was a Tuesday video. And on Friday, because I didn't get around to filming when I first got here and I didn't have a lot to talk about, I put out a video talking about knitting versus crochet because a lot of crocheters complain that knitters hate them and look down on them. So I thought I'd chat about it and see if that's true or not. I've had loads of comments on that video, but I haven't had time to go through them all yet, so I'll do that later. So if you haven't watched it, go and watch it, especially if you do both or if you have strong opinions. If you're a crocheter, you have reservations about knitting, or you're a knitter, you're not keen on crochet, go and comment on that video. Just be nice and polite. I'd love to hear your opinions. That was the video that was out on Friday. So this will be out on Tuesday and then there'll be another video out on Friday. Don't forget my special offer, 30% off all my patterns until the end of July. Code SUMMER30, Ravelry and PayHip. I'll link everything below so you can go and check that out as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week. And now I gotta go and cook dinner. It's too hot. I'll see you next time.